Welcome back to Real Estate with Mariah and Spenc. I'm Mariah.
And I'm Spencer.
And we are a husband and wife real estate team here in Oregon. I don't know why I decided to, usually introduce ourselves like that, but
we've been doing this show though for so long. It's like, sometimes you forget though what you've gone and said, and your intros sometimes get repeated, and there's nothing wrong with a nice little intro, Mariah.
Mm-hmm. Well, today we are answering a handful of recently asked viewer questions that if you are a home buyer right now in this market, or even a seller, you're going to want to know the answer to these questions, because I bet these are things you're wondering too. So be sure to stay tuned until the end. You're not going to want to miss anything. And feel free to send any real estate questions or referrals to our email, mariah@vettruscrawfordrealty.com. I'll put that down in the description. Are you ready to get into these?
Here's the deal. I feel like we haven't done a background check on you in quite a while.
What do you mean a background check?
Tell the audience your real estate background, where you've come from, how long you've been doing this for, and kind of like your passions in the real estate game. Just so like somebody can you just gave them an email, but I wouldn't email somebody, just say hi. Well, I really want them to, I want people to know Mariah.
Well, I got my real estate license back in 2015.
You're old, man.
I can't believe I'm on my 9th year, because I got my license right when I graduated from high school. I started real estate school while I was still in high school. I took the course like at night and I was in while I was in high school, whatever.
Night school.
Yeah, night school. And then I graduated and then got my license, and I started out as a solo agent. Wasn't, on a team or anything. I was just thrown out there on my own, specialized at the time in cold calling and for sell by owners. So I really worked with a lot of sellers and listings. And then a couple years after I got licensed, I got really busy and needed more help. And that's when my husband quit his job and joined me, and we've been a real estate team ever since. He's amazing. He works with a lot of our sellers now, and now I specialize in relocation buyers, which I love so much. We also have another YouTube channel. It's called Oregon Homes with Mariah Vettrus Crawford, which is where, you'll see a lot more information there on relocating to Oregon. And that's something that I definitely accidentally stumbled upon working with relocation buyers. I didn't even know that was a niche or like a thing you could do in real estate. But I genuinely love everything about the process of helping these buyers move to our area. And many of them have never been to Oregon and, don't come here until after they close on the home. So it's definitely something where you want someone who knows what they're doing as far as relocation goes. But that's where we're at with our business. Well, we love it.
It's really good though, because right now we are living in a day and age, I would say, where the good realtor, the good agent is kind of like hard to find anymore. Seriously, like there's these old school agents where we were a part in an office, a brick and mortar office for, 7-8 years, and those are what I would consider the OGs, the original agents in our industry that, they sat at their desk. They were very professional. They wore suits. Women wear their blazers, whatever it may be. And there was an elegance to them as the real estate professional. And what I can tell you now is, in today's world and today's market, everybody decided to go get their real estate license. Everybody and their uncle, I would say, because when I'm doing these phone calls, Mariah mentioned she was doing a lot of phone calls, in the beginning. Now I kind of manage that part of our business and do a lot of the cold calling, the cold texting, that type of stuff for the seller side. They just, there's agents that, they have a script. They bought a script. Maybe they're getting coached. And once there's some type of rejection or the actual business side of, hey, how would you handle this situation when you're actually in a contract? It's like scary because you don't know when you have a bad agent until you're in that situation. Yeah. And what I can say is you have such good years of experience and all types of different types of transactions. I mean, you've done the luxury listings, the residential standard home sales, the average 2-1, duplex, stuff like that. And in manufactured homes too. Mm-hmm. I mean, Mariah and myself have done a lot of real estate transactions through these years, but not just one specific niche. And that's what has been really exciting, though. That keeps me going. I talk about finding my why often, and it's like, it's not just another real estate transaction. It's about you guys, our audience. And so whether you're in North Carolina, Iowa, or here in Oregon, and you have a real estate question, feel free to send that to the email that Mariah listed. What's the email they got to send it to?
Mariah at vettruscrawfordrealty.com. Like I said, it will be in the description. And also let us know in the comments. We love chatting with you guys in the comment section. I know a lot of our viewers are, other real estate agents in other markets as well, not just buyers and sellers. So let us know. Are you, someone who's listening because you just want to learn about buying and selling real estate and you're not an agent, or are you a real estate agent and you like listening to real estate stuff? Let us know. In the comment section.
I listen to a lot of podcasts, guys. I really do. It's part of the routine when you're in the car, or say at the gym, or even writing a deal. There's always some type of background noise with me. And so I really value and hold these type of settings at a high standard. And if for instance, you don't know who you're talking to on the other end, for instance, the email you're sending, if you don't know the person replying to that, it can kind of be scary, especially with that, average home sale price reaching 450, 500,000 specifically in our area. That's a good chunk of coin. That's a good part of your life. That's a big investment that you might never deal with again. And whether you've done 10 home sales, 2 home sales, or this is your first go around, there's always a scenario and option that we love to just walk you through, work you through, give you good ideas. I mean, there's so many people that actually have reached out to me, I would say within the last 3 weeks. That I'm not even in a real estate transaction with. This could be family, this could be friends. Questions are always out there. And it's whether, hey, how's the market doing? Or, hey, Spenc, I'm in this situation right now, lending wise. Do you got a lender to send me to? Because I do that. I partnered with the lender, my specific lender, but if that's not working out for you, I got 3 different scenarios where we can get you the right fit for you. And that's all part of being in this business since 2015 on Mariah's end. That's unbelievable. And it's hard to do. The average real estate agent fails in what, 2 to 3 years?
Yeah, 90% of everybody who gets their real estate license.
95.
Yeah, it's at least 90% of everyone who gets their real estate license is out of the business within 2 years, which is why if you out of a handful of agents, the majority of them are probably, 4 years in the business or less. Like there's a lot of people that have their license, but it's not a lot of people, I think because a lot of people don't realize maybe they come from the corporate world or having a job and they don't realize that when you get your real estate license, you're actually a business owner now. So on top of now, obviously you're, working with buyers and sellers and you're a practitioner, you're doing that part of your business, but you also have to do a lot more back end work. You have to have structure and systems, and people don't realize that. Like it's all on you. You're your own boss, and I don't think people are always prepared for that. But anyways, are you ready to get
enough
into
about
these?
ourselves?
Yeah,
I felt like, we've been doing this show for that long, and you do get somewhat repetitive sometimes. And so if this is refreshing to you guys, leave us a comment just saying thank you, something. Give us some feedback on that one. But let's jump into today's show and hopefully get some good questions answered for you guys and make sure it's relevant.
Okay. So the first question is it realistic for me to ask sellers to pay for my closing costs right now based off of what we're seeing in the housing market? I'm getting this question a lot from buyers right now, actually.
Why not? Has the home stayed on market for X amount of days?
Okay. I really think that now more than we've seen in previous markets, it's very circumstantial and like house to house, because I've seen certain, listings right now where yes, absolutely ask for closing costs. You're probably going to get them covered. And then I've seen other listings where it's like, you don't even have a shot. We do have multiple offers. So it really depends on
the situation
the property. Yeah, more than usual.
And that's kind of my experiences too. There are some residential homes where you're like, forget about it. It's not going to happen. There's multiple offers. I'm sorry, you need closing costs paid for, but the reality is your offer's not really going to get accepted. Now we can always write the offer and see how things go. But as a real estate professional, I really hope you are taking our advice serious, because
And
don't not think we're in it for a paycheck too. I think that's
Yeah.
another one though that people get confused about is, man, you're just telling me to write this offer because you want a commission at the end of the day. You don't actually care about my best interests, or you're wanting me to send $10,000 over ask price because it's a for sure sale on your end.
Right.
I mean,
that's not the case at all.
Like,
if that
I
was the
would be out of
case, if we
business.
were that desperate for a sale that we had to do that, then you shouldn't be in real estate.
No, you really should
'Cause
not be in
that's
business
no
doing
way to
that.
run your business, and I don't think that's But what I was gonna say. Oh man, what was I gonna say? There was literally something right at the top of my mind about closing costs. Oh yeah, I think it also depends. To answer that question on, I think it depends a lot right now on how does the rest of your offer look. You know, is your offer contingent
Conditions.
on your home selling? Then maybe you don't ask for closing costs, because that definitely makes it a little bit weaker of an offer. If you have a contingency right now in a lot of price ranges, you need to have your best foot forward and be writing the cleanest, highest and best offer that you can.
Yeah.
So,
because I mean, think about this though, as a seller, you got to look at it in both perspectives. You as a buyer, yes, you really want this home. It's the great one for you. But the seller, they have a replacement property they're most likely purchasing. They're not just going to sell their house and not have a place to live, right? And in order to make sense for a lot of sellers to move, they've already found their replacement property. They have a timeline set. Maybe it's in the same state or they're moving out of state.
Yeah.
If you're submitting an offer that's in contingent of your home selling, well, usually they have a time frame they need to abide by as well. And so not all the time a contingency offer works out. But there are some scenarios and they do.
yeah.
What I am seeing though is sellers are putting time frames on the home sale itself. So they need to sell their home in a certain particular amount of time frame in order for their replacement property to actually take place.
It's tricky. It gets tricky when it's like the buyer has a house to sell in their state, and then they're moving here and they are buying this house, and then the seller of the house they're buying, it has another house to sell. Like there's so many different contingencies that it's like you know what I mean? Like everything's trying to be.
And if you get a deal going like that, my gosh, like it's a little stressful. And there's like sometimes more money out of pocket that it costs, because every day, for instance, you didn't close on the property and you're contingent upon selling. If that seller says, hey, you're going to have to release your earnest money non-refundable to me in order for me to keep you under contract, because at the end of the day, if the timeline doesn't, go towards the contract, whatever's written in paper, then you're going to fall out of contract and they can go and work with somebody else. And you're in a position you don't want that to happen. And that's our jobs, though, as realtors, to protect you as the buyer. But also, if we're representing the sellers, write it up to where everyone's in favor of who we're representing. And that's what I'm talking about. A good agent, a really good agent is going to put things, simply put, yes, in a contract that protect you as their client, but ultimately making you more successful in the real estate transaction.
And if your agent tells you something like, I think this is what we should do for the offer, I think this is what it takes to get the offer accepted, it's not like Spencer mentioned earlier, because they want to get a sale. Like they know what it takes, especially they can just look at the circumstance and know like this is what it's going to take to get an offer accepted on this property. We also, something that, not all agents do, I'm very surprised by, actually probably less than like the small majority of them do this, but they all should do this, is call the listing agent before you submit an offer and ask them like, hey, what is important to your sellers, so that you know what things matter the most to them and you can write an offer that has the highest chance of getting accepted.
You know what's funny?
What?
That used to happen a lot more.
What did?
Agents would call me. Maybe it's a different market when they were doing that, but they would say, hey, what's more important? Is this important? And they would tell me specific things that their client was willing to do without actually putting it on paper, and me just signing off saying yes. Because if they're giving me this verbal that sounds really good and I'm representing a seller, I'm going to tell you to put it in paper. And you might be competing against three or four other offers, but you're the one that called me and told me, hey, do you think this would be worth it? Now I can tell you, I think it'd be worth it. Of course, I'm not going to tell you on the other side of what the other offers are, but what I can give you is a guidance tool for your question and saying, I think that would be wise. to do.
Yeah.
And ultimately, when you're dealing with agents that are calling you while writing an offer, which I'm not seeing much of right now,
Yeah.
I'm just getting an offer sent in and then a random text, hey, look at your email.
Or sometimes no text.
Weird. Oh my
Don't do
gosh.
that.
That's the worst.
If you email over an offer, if you're an agent, always let the agent know, like call them, text it. Like it's just common courtesy. Okay. So, wait a minute. Okay, I lost my notes here. Okay, so the next question is, what is a clean offer? A lot of times we throw that word around as agents, but we forget that buyers maybe don't speak our lingo and they don't know like what necessarily when we're saying like, if we want something to get accepted on this particular property, it has to be a clean offer. What do we mean by that when we say that?
Well, Mariah.
Yes.
Is the electric cord in the garage worth it to you?
No, that's not clean.
Okay. So
Or
a simple that's
the fridge.
It's a simple example though of making something more in writing base, even though it's very simple and easy, it's less clean. More as, hey, we're gonna buy this as is, or hey, the conditions are right, release earnest money because we know we want the property. We're so secure on financing that we know it's going to sell, and the earnest money goes towards my down payment anyways. That's a clean offer.
Yeah.
The contingencies, you don't have a home to sell in order to purchase, meaning you're going to delay the timeline or you're going to delay your purchasing power because you don't actually have money to buy this home. So that would be the opposite of a clean offer. A clean offer is mainly like from the head of the sale agreement listing your name all the way to the bottom of the sale agreement listing the expiration date of the time your offer expires. What verbiage did you include that the seller is going to have to read more into?
Not asking the seller for closing costs, not asking unless you absolutely have to, not asking the seller for a home warranty. Like those are all things that just make it less of a clean offer, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So simple, to the point, clean, and really just making the seller's life easier is really what would make a clean offer.
Hey guys, by the way, a clean offer
Yeah.
involves having your lender's information ready to go with an attached pre-approval letter at the offer sales price that you're offering. That's a clean offer as well. So make sure your lending is in line. And I feel like a lot of people, they kind of miss that step. They want to get in the home. They found out the home's the right one for them. But then you're competing against 3 or 4 other offers at some point, and you don't have your lending in order, and now you just missed out on your dream property. Have your lender in order. Right now, I texted about 58 buyers this morning with my preferred lender, gave them the information, said, hey, here's a quick step, here's a quick tip. Contact the lender, call or text them today. Give them a scenario of your average income and your estimated credit score. What can you be approved for? Then let's go do some showings and find you the right property for you. It just makes the buying process so much simpler, easier, but better for you for when it does become the time to write the offer.
The next question is, I'm pre-qualified for a max of low $300,000 range. Advice, where could I be looking? Generally apply. Okay, well,
I need to look on our MLS. Is there
My
anything in
advice-
Salem like 285 anymore?
No.
Oh my gosh.
If there is,
There
it's
used to
cash
be.
only. But the homes right now,
sorry.
it's okay. Let me adjust my
I hit her
earphone.
headset.
So the homes right now that are in the lower $300,000 range in Salem and the surrounding areas are, if there is any, complete cash only, 500 square foot tear down. Like that is what we're seeing. My advice would be move to Texas, move to Missouri, the middle of nowhere. I'm kidding. So generally
different
though,
location that fits
different
your price
location.
point, if that's allowable with your work setting.
Okay, here's my advice if that's what the situation you're in and you're just like, I want to be a homeowner. And this can apply because on this channel specifically, we don't focus, like our other one is like everything you need to know about real estate in Oregon. This one is broad. We don't want to focus only on Oregon. So this advice is really for wherever you live in the United States. I think this applies. The further out you go from a major city, the cheaper the prices are going to be. I think that's pretty much the same for the most part everywhere. So, here that would be the further out you go from Salem, Eugene, Portland. If you're willing to go, an hour up into the mountains from your nearest city, then you're going to be maybe able to find something in that price point. And I think that applies to wherever you're looking in. Also consider other options. We've done full videos on this. I won't spend too much time on it, but manufactured homes in parks, not on their own land because you're going to be paying like it's everyone thinks that's a good deal. It's not.
Mariah,
okay?
what if I found land and want to move a manufactured home on it?
Well, I don't think that's as cheap of an option as people think. We can talk about that in another townhomes, condos.
I just had a conversation 2 weeks ago with one of my good friends, actually, that went that route.
Oh, really?
A year and a half later, he still doesn't have the manufactured home, still is paying out the yin-yang.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, dude.
It's not what you think. It's not what you think.
You got to put money down on these things. And then the project, you find bare land. Well, are you putting well, septic, got electrical on it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Location, how accessible is it for your new home? There's a lot.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
It's not what everyone looks at it and they're like, it would be such a cheap option because you look at what, buy a beautiful, brand new, like stunning manufactured home for $150,000 and it's like, 1,800 square feet. It sounds great. It's not great, guys. It's not. It can be done, but it
can be done and it feels good when it is done.
Yes, but it's not this big like extremely cheap way to do things. It's a lot more complicated. Also, finding a piece of property in our area that's certified for manufactured homes, like it's tough. But yeah, so consider other options, because say you are a buyer in Salem, where we're at specifically, you're not going to find a house that's financeable for $300,000, but you could find a condo, and you could find a condo that's that's pretty cute. It's going to be small, it's going to be cozy. It might even be built in the 70s, but you could find something that's not like super outdated, hasn't, been touched. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you could find something that's totally livable.
Living.
Yes.
Especially the townhouses around here.
Yes.
Though. You can find something affordable. 2-1, 3-1, 3-2s.
Yeah.
And they're making newer constructed homes. I mean, in Northeast Salem, especially, this isn't a channel where you guys are going to be searching for that specifically, but in our area, there are certain locations. So you can find something under or right at about $300,000. It's not a residential stick-built home, though. You don't have much of a yard, but it is a roof over your head that you're investing in yourself with.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Okay. The last question is, what happens if I'm under contract and the house isn't in good enough condition to appraise? First off, I'll just say this is something I feel like sometimes buyers are really worried about, and I understand why, but it really doesn't happen as often as you might think. Even in markets like previous markets that we were in, where a seller would list a price at a insane price that you're like, this is just nuts. Why would anyone? And then boom, it just gets offers $20,000 over asking, and it's just crazy. Like, you would totally not expect it to appraise. For some reason, we are still seeing things appraising like left and right. So
there are usually some conditional items depending on the loan program. VA home loans especially, they don't like moss on the roof, for instance. Does that mean you can't buy the home? Heck no.
Yeah.
You just eliminate the moss in the seller. They scrub it off with a brush. The appraiser comes back out, takes a photo, submits it to the underwriter. Boom. The sale now continues. I've only really worked with, I would say, two deals that when appraisal went south, the deal went south because the home was not financeable. I'm currently working with one. The sellers put $25,000 into the home to get it financeable, and the appraiser, all they're going to do is come back out. They're going to look at the 5-6 items they said did not meet conditions, and they're going to put a check on the box, or they're going to say, unhappy face, you need to continue to work on this. And that's really the scenario.
Yeah. And so what happens if in the event that a home doesn't appraise because it's not at the value? What is that? What has happened in that situation?
The loan can only be financeable up to the amount of the appraisal value. So say the sales price is $350,000. Oh no, it didn't appraise. It came back out at $345,000. Well, the buyer and seller has a choice. The home can only sell at $345,000, or seller can play hardball and say, hey, give me $5,000 cash and let's get this thing closed. We were dealing with under appraisals, but if in the event the home was too under appraised, buyers were willing to front the additional money.
Yes.
That was very common in sales contracts 3-4 years ago. Very common. Almost had to be said.
It was almost tough if you didn't have the extra money to be able to do that, to get an offer accepted.
That required cash.
Yeah.
And I mean, now I have not seen that verbiage that much. I
Yeah.
really haven't. And
No.
that was like,
No, you don't see that
you
much
were
now.
getting that verbiage, including a sale as is, 0 inspections to be done.
yeah,
It was a different time in real estate, but now
Yeah.
we're just not seeing those type of offers.
Yeah.
Let your real estate professional guide you if you are in that situation. If you're comfortable with it, then go for it. But if not, you got to do what your gut says and do what's best for your investment, because that's what real estate is. It's an investment for you in your financial security in 5, 10 years, 15 years.
Yeah.
We've all seen the market appreciate in how unbelievable it is. Some people are just so rich on paper, they don't even know. Go ask them.
There's a lot of home equity right now in this housing market. Okay, thank you guys for hanging out with us today. If you grabbed value from this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, and don't forget to come back next week, because we do come on here every week and talk all about real estate, and we'll see you then.